Hello dear students, welcome to the course of Engineering Thermodynamics. Today we are going to discuss about gas power cycle and in particular we will discuss about mean effective pressure. Myself Mihir Mistry, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So today we are discussing mean effective pressure. So in previous lectures we have already discussed that mean effective pressure is nothing but ratio of work done to the swept volume, right? So today we are going to derive the equation for mean effective pressure. So let's find it out. So as you can see on the left hand side of the screen, PV and TS diagram of Otto cycle is represented, in which as you can see there are four processes. 1 to 2 is nothing but reversible adiabatic compression process. 2 to 3 is nothing but reversible constant volume heat addition process. 3 to 4 is nothing but reversible adiabatic expansion process, and 4 to 1 is reversible constant volume heat rejection process, right? Likewise you can see that on TS diagram also you can refer the all four processes. So before we are moving forward, let us quickly remind what is the mean effective pressure. So it is nothing but the ratio of work done to the swept volume, right? So ratio of work done to the swept volume. So let us find it out. So first of all we will define work done. So net work done is nothing but, see here we are associated with two kinds of work. The first one is expansion work and the second one is compression work. So if we take difference between these two, then we will be able to identify the net work. So first is net work is nothing but difference between expansion work and compression work. Here you may note that obviously for any engine expansion work will be more than the compression work. So that is why expansion work minus compression work, right? So let's move forward. Now if you recall your first year level course, that is basic mechanical engineering. So during that course you might have learned that for reversible adiabatic process you can write down work as equal to P1 V1 minus P2 V2 divided by gamma minus 1. So same equation we are going to use over here also. As you can see, expansion work is taking place between 3 and 4 points. See over here, 3 and 4 points. So now you can write the equation like P3 V3 minus V4 V4 divided by gamma minus 1 for the work done during expansion, because expansion process is nothing but here reversible adiabatic process, right? Same way compression work you can write it by P2 V2 minus P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1, because 1 to 2 process is nothing but reversible adiabatic compression process, right? So here if you write that, then you can identify that this will be the final equation for work done, right? So this is representing expansion work and this is representing compression work. Clear? Now let's move forward. In this equation here we know that compression ratio R is defined as V1 divided by V2. Here you can notice that small v1 by small v2 is nothing but specific volume ratio, and capital V1 by capital V2 is nothing but volume ratio, right? So you can take any of these two. So for both this ratio you will identify that it is same and nothing but compression ratio. Okay. Now further, as you can see, we can also write that V1 is equal to V2 into R, right? So if we make V1 as the subject in this equation, then we can write this equation also, right? Same way here you can appreciate that V4 and V1 is same and V2 and V3 is also same, right? So that is why instead of V1 I can write V4 also, right? So that is why I have written over here V4 also, right? Now let's move further. We are very well aware about the PVT correlation. In the lecture of Otto cycle I have already told you to remember this correlation. Whenever you are dealing with reversible adiabatic process, then you can write this PVT correlation. Same way 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression, 3 to 4 is expansion. So for 3 to 4 you can write like this equation. Clear? Now if you compare these two equations, then what will happen? You can observe that if you compare these two equations, see over here, this and this equation, then what will happen? See over here, V1 is equal to V4, right? Because see PV diagram, so there you can appreciate that V1 is equal to V4, same volume. Same way denominator, observe denominator, V2 is equal to V3. Now observe the PV diagram again, see here, 2 and 3 is also same volume, right? So you can say that the ratio of V1 and V2 is equal to ratio of V4 and V3, right? So you can compare these two ratio also. So that is why I have written P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P4, and that is equal to what? That is equal to nothing but V1 by V2 raised to gamma, which is equal to compression ratio raised to gamma, right? So you can write like this. Further, we know that pressure ratio is equal to what? So pressure ratio is nothing but higher pressure divided by lower pressure. So here, student, you can observe that higher pressure is P3 and lower pressure is P2. So P3 by P2 is equal to pressure ratio. Also you can write P4 by P1 is equal to pressure ratio RP. Although you have to pay attention over here that the value of P3 and P4 is not same and value of P2 and P1 is not same, but the ratio of P3 by P2 and P4 by P1 will remain same. Okay, so keep that thing in your mind. So that is what pressure ratio RP, right? So I have highlighted these two boxes with green color because we are going to use it in further derivation. Okay, so now let's come back to our main equation, that is W net. So in this W net equation, what we will do is we will take P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1 as common. But before doing so, we will we will release the LCM. So let's do that. So what I have done is I have separated the denominator for individual terms. So P3 V3 by gamma minus 1 minus P4 V4 by gamma minus 1 minus P2 V2 by gamma minus 1, and here you can observe that this minus sign and this minus sign will become plus sign. So that is why here the plus sign is written. Clear? Okay. Now what we are doing is, from this all four terms, I am taking P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1 as common. So if I am taking it as common, so P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1, if you take it as common, so obviously gamma minus 1 is denominator of every terms. So it can be taken as common, but P1 V1 is not associated with every term. So you have to divide by P1 V1 for this first, second and third term, right? It is mathematically easy to understand for you guys, right? So that is how this thing is written. And obviously you have taken P1 V1 by gamma minus 1 as common, so you are left with plus 1 only. Clear? Now let's move further. Here in this first term, I will do some modification. See over here in this first term. Okay, so let's do that modification. What I am doing is I am just multiplying this first term by P2 and I am dividing the first term by P2. So ultimately I am multiplying it by 1, right? So let's observe that. See over here. As you can see over here, I have multiplied the term by P2 and I have divided the term by P2. So ultimately you have divided by or multiplied it by 1. Okay. Now in this term, you can observe that in this term over here, you can observe that P2 by P1, see this combination P2 by P1, that is nothing but here. See, it is given over here. P2 by P1 is given over here. You can see that P2 by P1 is equal to R raised to gamma, right? So I can write it down P2 by P1 as R raised to gamma. Then next term, let me show it to you by green color so it will be easy to understand. P3 by P2, see over here. This is P3 by P2, see this ratio, okay? So P3 by P2, so that you can identify from this equation, see, right? P3 by P2, that is nothing but RP, agree, right? And V1 divided by V2. So V1 divided by V2 is obviously what? You will tell me, sir, it is compression ratio, right? So that is why V2 divided by V1 is nothing but compression ratio, right? I hope you are clear up to this point. Now, observe the second term, okay? I hope you are clear up to this point. Now observe the second term, that is P4 divided by P1, right? So this P4 divided by P1, that is already known to us, right? This is what P4 divided by P1 is over here, see. P4 divided by P1, that is nothing but pressure ratio RP. Then V4 divided by V1. Now observe the PV diagram. See over here, students, V4 and V1 is same, right? V4 and V1 is same. So this will be neglected. So V4 is neglected and V1 is neglected. So now in this third term, as you can see, this P2 by P1 is already given. So this P2 by P1, as you can see over here, highlighted, right? That is R raised to gamma. Same way, the remaining term is what? V1 by V2. Okay, so that is reciprocal of R. That is 1 by R, right? So now let us write it down, all the equations again. So what we can do is P1 V1 upon gamma minus 1 is equal to Rp into R raised to gamma divided by R. Now let's understand again how it is written. See over here, this combination is what? P2 divided by P1. So this P2 divided by P1 is nothing but R raised to gamma. See this one, right? This equation, P2 by P1 is equal to R raised to gamma. That is why I have written R raised to gamma. So this one is clear, right? Next, P3 divided by P2. So let us write P3 divided by P2. This combination is nothing but given over here. See, P3 divided by P2, that is nothing but Rp, that is pressure ratio. So Rp is clear to you guys, right? Next is V1 divided by V2, right? So I am reading the denominator first and numerator later on, right? So V1 divided by V2, that is 1 by R. So I have written 1 by R over here. Clear? Okay. So first term is clear to us, right? Now let's change the color so it will be easy to understand. Now P4 divided by P1. Okay, so P4 divided by P1, that is nothing but what? Rp, right? Written over here. So we have written Rp over here. Clear? So Rp is clear to us. V4 by V1. So as you can see in the PV diagram, I have already told you that V4 by and V1 is same. So V4 and V1 will get cancelled out. So you cannot write that, right? Minus P2 divided by P1. Now let's again change the color so it will be easy to understand. So P2 divided by P1. So P2 divided by P1 is written as R raised to gamma, right? So R raised to gamma is clear to you guys. Then V1 divided by V2, that is nothing but 1 upon R. So that is also written plus 1 as it is. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys, right? Now what we will do, now just focus over here. This R is having same base but different power. Okay, so if I will take this denominator in the numerator, then the power will become negative. Same will occur over here also, right? So if I will do that, then what we can write is P1 V1 divided by gamma minus 1 Rp, R raised to gamma minus 1 minus Rp minus R raised to gamma minus 1 plus 1. Clear? Okay, now in this equation, observe the first two terms. I can take Rp as common from first two terms, and observe the last two terms. I can take minus 1 as common. Okay, so if I will do so, then I can write the equation like this, right? That is Rp minus 1 into R raised to gamma minus 1 minus 1. That is what? Net work done. I hope it is clear to you up to this point, right? Now let us write it down on one side, that is W net is P1 V1 upon gamma minus 1 into Rp raised to Rp minus 1 into R raised to gamma minus 1 minus 1, right? Our main aim is to what? Find the mean effective pressure. So mean effective pressure definition is what? Simple, work done net divided by swept volume. So now we will move forward. Mean effective pressure, the definition is given, net work output divided by swept volume. Net work output is already known to us. We have derived that. And swept volume is nothing but Vs. And Vs is equal to what? V1 minus V2. We have already seen that in our numericals, right? So swept volume is equal to V1 minus V2. Now we will take V2 as common in these two terms. So if you take V2 as common, so first term will be divided by V2 minus 1. So V1 by V2 is nothing but R. So you can write V2 R minus 1, right? So this swept volume is substituted in our equation of mean effective pressure. Then you can find like this. And here also you can observe that if you take this combination, that is V1 divided by V2, then this ratio is nothing but compression ratio R. So write it as P1R, Rp minus 1, R is to gamma minus 1 upon gamma minus 1 into R minus 1. So this is the final equation of mean effective pressure for Otto cycle. One can also do this approach for diesel cycle, same way, right? Now remember one thing, it might be helpful in solving the numericals whenever mean effective pressure is asked. But before finding the mean effective pressure in the numerical, you have to find out the pressure ratio R, compression ratio R and P1. Right, then and then you can find out the mean effective pressure. Okay, so we will stop up to this point. Thank you.